All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you all doing today? We start off every live stream with Ellie saying hi to everyone. Ellie's having a very good and spoiled day, but she's kind of upset that we're going on a vacation soon, so she's going to be stuck with the housekeeper. Say hi to Ellie. There you go, guys. This is Ellie. Named after Elliott wave theory. She only trades corrective patterns, ABC. She doesn't know what an impulse wave is. Her net worth is minus $5 million. She's a pretty stupid trader, if you ask me. Her portfolio's minus lots of 100% Dogecoin. And Dogecoin, she's been long since the all-time high. Stupid Ellie. Say bye to the camera, Ellie. Okay, so welcome everybody. Just wanted to give you guys your dose of cuteness today. So today I've got a greetings Chantel. Love having you. Hello from Canada. That's where I'm originally from. My Turkish is pretty good. Türkçe öğreniyorum. Bugün mutluyum. Çok mutluyum. My Turkish is getting pretty good. Thank you for asking. But my fiance speaks English very fluently, so I'm mainly speaking English with her. So today I've got a really good episode for you guys. I've been very inspired by many people reaching out to me about specific things in their life that they're having trouble with in terms of trading. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Bitcoin like we do every single day, just to get a technical analysis perspective. So welcome to my channel. For those that don't know me, my name is Philakone. People just call me Phil for short. I'm originally from Canada, living in Turkey, and originally a mechanical engineer that turned into a professional day trader slash hodler in 2016. Got the opportunity to pretty much leave slash get fired from my engineering job, which was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And since then, I've made it a focus to always be active in the cryptocurrency community, where my main goal is, of course, to have fun, learn a lot about the community and grow it while making profit, of course. That's why we're here as well. And just go for the wave, ride the wave with crypto and see where this goes. But most importantly, try to teach people my tips and my tricks. So today we'll go over Bitcoin. And secondly, what we're going to go over is some tips and tricks to turn yourself into a professional trader and some of the most vital skills and processes that you must be able to endure. So one person reached out to me in particular, actually two people. They were talking about some struggles that they've had, and I'd like to address that as a whole. And I think everybody can benefit from this advice. And you never know, this one video right here might be a video that could very well change the way you think about trading and change the way that you approach trading in general. So for those that are new here, please make sure you're liking the video. Give me a notification and a subscribe. Make sure you're clicking that bell there so you can be tuned in for every single video that I make every single day. Haha, you guys are stuck with me for the next 2 years. Okay, let's get into this right now. So we'll save the questions and the answers, Sahil, to the very end. That's where I'll take the Q&A. But for now, I'll just stick to the program. But I'm going to scroll back and review these questions that you're asking, since right now we only have about 80 to 200 viewers at a given time. I assure you that this is going to grow to a few thousand viewers by the time I'm done. So right now, Bitcoin is on the fence, okay? Bitcoin originally tried to break above this $21,700-800 range, and it was met with much resistance, as we can see, okay? On the monthly chart right now, monthly's almost done. It's nasty right now. We're very far away from the 200 moving average that everybody was referencing, okay? So the 200, I'm just gonna change this guy to 200 to make it easy. So that yellow line right here, it's not showing, that's odd. But anyways, we're about $2,000 away from breaking back up above the 200 moving average. So on the monthly, it's just not looking good right now. You don't want to be trading it when it's this bad, right? Just looking at the monthly where it's almost done, we've only got 2 more days. It's just not a nice monthly candle to have. On the weekly candle, it already looks like we're starting to downtrend for the week as well. We had a slight tick up for the weekly, but now we're right back down to where we are, where the histogram is still leveled off the MACD is still heading to the downside. So on the big perspective right now, there's literally no momentum to slow down this downtrend at all. So on the macro picture, there's no way that we can get a bounce, right? On the big picture to big numbers. But on the lower time frame, of course, we might have intraday or intra-week bounces that may give us a small relief rally. That could happen. So we were taking a look at the 2-day moving average, right? So the 2-day moving average was slowly and steadily going to the upside. So there's two different shapes that I must make note of. Whenever you see MACD, there's two different shapes, okay? Think of a circle. So excuse a really crappy circle. Let's see if I can make a better shape here. I don't think that I can. Okay, so just imagine a circle. Okay, there's two halves of this circle. There's the top half and there's the bottom half. So the top half over here, okay, this is what we call a concaved shape. Think of it like a cave door. And this one here is called a convex shape, right? A convex shape. What we want, okay, when we're going to the upside is a convex shape where the MACD eventually starts getting steeper and steeper. But if we get a concave shape, well, it's likely to go up, reach the top, and then come right back down. And if you take a look at BTC right now, for example, on the 2-day, right, it does definitely looks like a concaved type of shape where it's simply going to perhaps rally a little bit more, then come right back down. So the momentum has absolutely been lost for the bulls now. I do have to admit. You also take a look at the histogram on the daily. It's starting to smoothen out. Do you see this concaved shape that it's making? Right? So it looks like it's about to wrap around and come right back down. So we're unfamiliar, we're unsure of what this pattern could possibly be yet. Okay? So we're not sure. Most likely, this is the 5 Elliott wave fractal that I'm counting. The 5 Elliott wave on the very simplest terms is A, B, C to make a 2. This makes a 3 somewhere in here probably, a 4 and a 5. And if we do a measured move, what we're seeing is that the wave 1 is very similar to wave 3, right? Wave 3 is a little bit bigger. But if we take a look at wave 3 and wave 5, they're almost identical, where wave 5 is slightly bigger. So we're not sure if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then now we're perhaps making just a corrected pattern, right? So failures can occur all the time. Once 5 waves ends, an impulse wave should begin. But an impulse wave can simply fail, and then we get more correction to the downside. So right now, Bitcoin is really on the fence, and it's fighting hard to break above this resistance and stay at this 20K support range. The only reason we're finding support right now is because of the last low, where I wouldn't be surprised if we stay here for a pretty long period of time. So my recommendation is to make an alert, okay? Go to less than every time. Make sure your sound is working, okay? Just make sure your sound's on every time. So if it's working, great, right? Make sure you can hear it, save it. So every time Bitcoin goes below this price range, you're gonna know. So we're really unsure of what this pattern is going to be. It just needs to break either above this resistance or break this low. We just want some volatility. But right now, Bitcoin has only been moving about 9% in the past 3 days, which is really slow in my opinion compared to the previous month. So my conclusion with Bitcoin right now is we're simply at a support. We're at a support, and if Bitcoin ends up bouncing slightly here, we could get a bullish next few days, but we don't know yet, right? So if this ended up rallying, say we ended up making an ascending triangle, perfect. It would be great for the bulls. But as it stands right now, the 4-hour MACD is still going down, the 3 hours still going down, the 2 hours going down, the 1 hour finally crossed to the upside. So does that mean that we're finally going to get a small relief rally here at the 20K ranges? So now moving on, whenever Bitcoin is doing something like this, somebody asked me in my Discord group that they're always watching Bitcoin to see what it does before they day trade other coins. So we're going to move on to the tips and tricks now, and you guys are going to love this part. So is it wise to always watch Bitcoin and follow Bitcoin's movement to see what it does when you day trade other coins? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because if Bitcoin is extremely volatile, what you're going to want to do is you're gonna constantly want to watch Bitcoin to see what it does, because Bitcoin is king. Whenever Bitcoin moves, you're gonna see these altcoins move in a very similar manner. In fact, when Bitcoin rallies, you'll pretty much see every single coin rally with Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin drops hard, you'll see probably 98% of altcoins move to the downside with Bitcoin. But there's always going to be that one coin that had really fundamental news that was released that's rallying upwards against Bitcoin. So, but whenever you see Bitcoin going sideways, okay, whenever it's sideways and it's ranging 1 or 2 or 3%, the majority of all coins will also follow what Bitcoin does, except for perhaps a few coins that we'll see move heavily to the upside. An example would have been storage. If you guys have been watching storage for the past, during a period of time, it was really moving not against Bitcoin, but Bitcoin was going sideways or barely dropping, and storage was having some massive gains. XRP was also doing the same thing as well, and also ARPA. So keep an eye on Bitcoin, but know that it does not always 100% correlate to Bitcoin. On my top left screen, I always have a chart of Bitcoin up on the 5-minute time frame, because I need to know what Bitcoin's doing at all times. Because if, for example, a coin is rallying to the upside and it's supposed to make a few impulse waves, but Bitcoin ends up dropping like 5 or 10%, you can expect for a fact that a lot of these altcoins or the coin that you're looking at will also drop at the same time as well. Okay. So another really great question that somebody asked me today was they were more talking about their circumstance when it comes to trading. And this person, I'm not going to say the name, of course, out of respect, but they were talking about their circumstance in life where they were working a lot and they were extremely tired a lot of the days, and they were finding difficulty finding time to trade and making time to study, and they were taking pretty big losses because, first of all, they have a very physically demanding job, and then when they come home, they're really tired. So, having the energy to study, that can be really difficult. Losses end up incurring, and then the cycle keeps repeating, like working 12 hours a day, being too tired to study. You're physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. You try to trade, you try to learn, but you just don't have that stamina anymore and you're burning out, right? This happens a lot, okay? And the first thing that I would say to people in general, the best advice I can give is, first of all, figure out what kind of trader you want to be, okay? If you're, for example, this gentleman who's working 12 hours a day, you clearly don't have time to day trade, right? You've got to make sure that you focus on the amount of time that you have to trade. So in this particular case, perhaps if you don't have a lot of time and you're, for example, a student, or you've got responsibilities like family, you've got another job full time that's very demanding of you, you've got other family responsibilities, right? Make sure that you're focusing on the type of trades that you can actually take that's going to fit within your life. There's always people outside of my street. Just let me close the window. There's always people outside taking photos because my house is beautiful, and they're kind of annoying. We get like 30 to 50 tourists a day that are just outside of our house taking a picture of it because it's really beautiful. So try to figure out the kind of trades you want to take. Don't try to be a day trader if you only have time to swing. In fact, if you barely have time to swing, maybe it's better for you to be a longer term holder and investor. So this way, you can't force yourself to be a day trader if you don't have the time. Okay, that's the first step to becoming a trader. Figure out what kind of trader you want to be. You cannot become both the day trader and the swing trader. It really doesn't work like that, okay? You have to focus on one specific set of skills. Otherwise, you specialize in absolutely nothing. The skills that you need to day trade are very different than the skills you need to swing trade. The low time frames that you analyze requires a completely different set of price action analysis skills and real-time analysis skills than looking at the bigger and macro picture on, for example, the 4-hour and up. Hey, good morning, Christopher Richmond. Welcome and thank you for joining. So now the next thing that I would say that people need to figure out, first of all, is a schedule to learn. Okay, you got to have a schedule to sit down and dedicate to studying and learning. It's no different than going to university. And I went to school for 7 years and I wasn't a good student, okay? Trust me, I was a horrible student. But in retrospect, I understand what a lot of good students did. They would dedicate time to sit down, study, take notes, review, do exercises, especially, right? You have to formally study and make it fun, of course. Watch videos, right? Read books, do whatever you need to do, but make sure that you're absorbing information. Otherwise, if you're not growing your skills and you're not learning and you're just trying to do trial and error and figure out what works for you and what doesn't, right? It has to be a delicate balance between that. Find a way to learn from a credible source, right? It could be my channel, it could be anyone's channel. Just get information from someone who has done well in crypto. I personally think my channel is great. I offer a lot of free content. If you guys choose to follow and learn from me, great. I'll still be here in a few years. I'm sure of that, right? But diversify your knowledge, okay? Grow. Don't stop learning. And most importantly, right, take notes down. You have to take down notes and review them. One of my friends in Canada, he's taking my courses right now, and he told me that it's a great course because he's taking notes as well. He's taking notes, he's reviewing before each time he starts my course. He's reviewing at the end of the at the end of each lesson as well. If you're able to take notes and review, it gives you an opportunity to learn from hearing and from visually as well by text. So you're combining both different methods of learning and whatever works for you. Now, a lot of people, they go into the market, and I always talk about this. They go into the market thinking like, I need to make a lot of money. One of my friends in Canada, he said to me, like, and I kind of get what he was implying, right? And a lot of people imply that as well. Like, for example, I'm only making the type of money that I make because I'm trading with 50K. Sometimes I'm trading $500,000. In September, I'm trading 1.4 mil, right? So they're big numbers. And of course, 1 or 2 or 5% of a big number is a bigger number. You would agree? But let's just say that I gave a random guy $50,000 to start day trading. Do you really think he would be successful? Probably not, right? He'd probably end up blowing it all in a matter of days or weeks or months. Really, it's a fact. So if you had a big bankroll, you're not going to make a lot of money from it, trust me. Because you're going to be trading against guys like me or guys who are really professionals in the game that sits in their office 12 hours a day studying the market. Yeah, exactly, T. Holmes. They're going to get wrecked in days. I know that because I've been one of those people that got wrecked, and I literally sold 2 of my parents' TVs when they were on vacation just to get like, I think $1,200 or something to day trade that, which I lost. I literally sold my parents' televisions to and this is back then when it was really hard to get crypto, like really hard in 2016 when you had to like go to Bitcoin machines and put in cash, and then you'd have to wait like 5 hours for it to deposit to your wallet. Like, this was hard back then in 2016. So my point is, instead of focusing on the profit at first, change your mindset up, change your psychology up, and realize that the first step to becoming a good trader is to equip yourself with knowledge and power, because knowledge is power. Then once you equip yourself with that, you have to dedicate time to learn and really take a step back, okay, and not trade with big money. This money that you're losing now, it's probably going to continue to keep losing and losing because it's the tuition that you're spending to learn, okay? So keep these mistakes small. But despite losing and making mistakes, that's not enough, okay? The next step, after realizing what kind of trader you want to be, do you want to be a swing trader, day trader, or investor, right? Acknowledging that you're first of all here to learn, that's second, right? You're here to learn, so don't trade with a big bankroll. And thirdly, acknowledge that you're going to probably lose everything and make a lot of mistakes. But the fourth step is the most important one. And that would come down to, what do you do with these mistakes, right? What happens when you actually make these mistakes? I know a lot of my friends, where they're making these mistakes and they're making them over and over. And I talk to them, right? And I ask them, so what are you doing to try to change? And what are you trying to do to make these mistakes less or to do it better? And they just basically say to myself, oh, I'm just trying to remember them and just trying to minimize these mistakes. But then I ask them, how are you trying to minimize these mistakes, right? What specifically are you doing to take the steps necessary to prevent these types of disasters again? And also, what kind of mistakes are you actually making? So this is going to come down to documenting your trade. You've got to be able to write down in a systematical format, okay, what exactly you're doing wrong. There is a period in my life where I basically wrote down every fifth wave fractal that I saw, right? And every time I took a short, I would copy and paste this fifth wave, like this 5-wave structure to my Word document. And then after about a year, I had about 600 of these, and I just looked back on them to see which ones worked and which ones didn't. And now I've just got a really good idea of what works and what doesn't. So you have to be able to document the kind of mistakes that you're making so you can look at it and be like, oh, I can't believe that these groups, these things that I'm doing that are grouped are working, and these ones over here are not working. And then you have to constantly look at what you're reviewing and saying to yourself, all right, I know that I'm doing this wrong. So every day you look at these mistakes that you've made, review it at the end of the night, review it in the morning as well until it sticks, until these mistakes are minimized and they're second nature and it becomes instincts. You have to categorize your mistakes. For example, a really big one that people make is, I don't take my losses big enough. Or sorry, I'm stuttering on my words here. I don't take my losses fast enough. I have a problem cutting my losses when I need to. All right. So every time you don't cut your loss, write it down. Okay. Write it down. Write down exactly how much more you lost. Okay. Write down your loss first of all. Then write down how much more you lost compared to if you had cut your losses earlier. Keep writing it down the first time. And then the second time, you're going to be like, oh man, that happened earlier. And then the third time, like, oh crap, those 2 times I could have cut my losses. This is the third time. By the 10th time, you realize that I didn't cut my losses fast enough. And if I had cut my losses quicker, I could have literally saved 8 to 9%. And if you keep following this method of seeing your pattern, if you could break this pattern of yours, you're really going to allow yourself to grow as a trader. So these are all steps that must be taken to grow yourself into a good trader. You gotta acknowledge these mistakes, write them down systematically, observe them, categorize them, review them every single day, and do your absolute best to minimize them. But the only way you could do that is if you see it on a piece of paper. If you see it written down and you see that, oh my God, 13 times now, I didn't cut my losses enough or fast enough, and they averaged me an extra 8% loss. If you see that in front of you, you're probably gonna like minimize those mistakes in the future, don't you think? Yeah, you're right, NH. I'm getting a stand camera on the ground. Right now my camera is really high and it's mounted on my desk, and my desk is 250 centimeters long and it's got crazy stuff on it. So I've got to get a new mount. I apologize about that. So that's the best advice that I can give people when it comes to learning and improving and developing your skills. What do I think about the 6-month close? 6-month close. Okay, I will go to month. I don't really look at things like that, to be quite honest. That's a little bit too, way too too high of a time frame for me. That's obviously a nasty candle, but I wouldn't really gauge it by the 2-month. I don't think anybody trades Bitcoin on a 6-month time frame, to be quite honest. Also, for taking profit too early, it's best to document when you took the profit and where your initial target was. Perfect example, Load Van Develd. So just as an example, okay, this is a really good one that I used to make my mistakes on, and I'm going to share with you guys really clearly. Okay, so there's a 5 Elliott wave fractal that ended up forming. and you caught the fifth wave, okay? Now, you caught the fifth wave, and every single time you get nervous, so you take your profit at 236 instead. How do you confirm that you caught it? Excuse me, you caught it. Usually what happens is, let's just say this makes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Usually you confirm that it's the top when the third wave coming down, right? It makes a lower low than wave 1. So this point right here, wave 3 ends up going below wave 1. So then you get nervous, and then you take your profit really early. You take your profit here instead at 236 level, okay? So now what you want to do is, let's just say you kept doing that because you wanted to, it's in the green, you got nervous, you got shaken out, you still made profit, but say over 20 trades now that you've taken, if you kept taking profit at this level, start to document in percentages how often it actually not only got there, but perhaps bounced up and got even lower. So write down the amount of times you've taken your profit here, and then out of all the trades you've taken your profit right here, okay? Backtrack it, review it in a few days, and then see for percentages how many of them actually get to here instead, okay? And then you can calculate how much missed profit you had. So if, for example, if 85% of them, or let's just say 70% of the time, it actually ended up going lower to 382, right? Well, that might give you a sign that perhaps you should have held on a little bit longer because 70% of the time it got lower, right? Another thing that you can do if you get nervous is take 50% of your profit, okay? Take 50% of your profit, let the bounce happen, and then take your other 50% if it gets lower. But for example, if it actually never does get lower, right? And for example, C is heavily truncated and it doesn't fall below the previous where you took 50% profit, well, at least you can still take another 50% of your profit at still slightly higher price, but you allowed an extra 50% to potentially make better profit. So that's another way, if you're taking profit too early, that you can work on developing, right? You have to have statistics for when you took profit early. And if you have these statistics of, hey, I took profit too early here, and guess what? 70% out of, for example, 20 trades, it actually got lower. That should be something, a bell ringing in your head to perhaps hold on to your position longer, or perhaps take only 50% of your profit then. Does that make sense? So yeah, not really. I don't factor in, like, I understand that, you know, there's a lot of fundamental in the real world, in the traditional markets as well, that can affect Bitcoin. But I'm going to keep this channel specifically to technical analysis and what I can see. Because we have to understand what technical analysis is, right? By true definition, it's basically seeing all information reflected in the charts, right? We might not be able to anticipate, for example, if there's fundamental news that can drive up a price, perhaps we can't predict that in a chart. But when that fundamental news starts to impact the price action of the chart, we can automatically assume that the fundamental news is now reflected in the chart based on, for example, a huge green candle. Despite not knowing the exact reason that a coin rallies or drops, we can understand the sentiment in technical analysis. It's really important for long-term investing to do technical analysis and fundamental analysis, of course. But for the purposes of day trading, I personally have never found that having to worry about fundamental news has severely impacted Bitcoin a lot. Because if there was really negative news, such as, you know, regulation, it got rejected again, just as an example, right? If there's really bearish news in the market, I'll basically see a very bearish type of pattern that's showing on Bitcoin. And that alone will show me that the sentiment is bearish towards the downtrend, right? So I see everything happening in the real world reflected in the charts already as well. Oh, the monthly close. I see. I understand now. It's really ugly. It's horrible. Okay, here's the 200 moving average. So this yellow guy, hold on. Okay, this is the 50. So we're at the 50 moving average for the monthly. It's nasty. I mean, right? But keep in mind that whenever we see these types of candles, I mean, you never like they could follow anytime any pattern. Look at this huge candle, right? It was followed by the next month by like a 50% rally. Following this candle, we got some stabilization. Okay? Following this ugly candle, we got a big rally. So you just don't know about the monthly candle. It could recover and bounce huge. It could drop further, or it could just go sideways for a slow accumulation period. So yesterday was a pretty good day trading. I forgot what coin we were trading all day. Yeah, I forgot. So I'll show you guys. I'm doing pretty well this month. Actually, very well. My day trading profit has been pretty... It was kind of slow, to be honest, this month so far. I could have done a lot better. I'm only up like $18.5 thousand this month. So it's been really slow for me. I took a loss. I'm just trying to find my P&L here for you guys. I don't even think I have it. My here it is. So this is my P&L. I'm not showing the P&L, like, trust me, you don't want to see that. So I had a bad day, minus 1,500. But even on the fairly slow month, I don't remember what happened these 2 days. So this is about an 18.5K profit right now. My trading volume is about $15 million. Pretty slow compared to the traditional 30. My portfolio is taking a beating right now in both portfolios, the public one and also my main portfolio is down like over 6 figures in the past few days. The public portfolio is down a lot. It went from plus $4,000 profit to minus $9,000. But when you're holding long term, you can't really be worrying about these small dips, right? You have to remember the all-time highs, and if it reaches it, you got to hold strong at dollar cost average, because one day we will reach this bullish run again, and the people that are sold off, they're going to be crying, and the people that held on like me, like I've always done, we're just going to be laughing at everybody that sold off to us, right? So I'm down a little bit in my portfolio here for both of them, about maybe 120K over, like just in the past few days on my main portfolio, but I'm down over $500,000 on my main portfolio this year alone, maybe 600 now. Quite a bit. So that's all right though. I'm here for the long term. So I think I'll just leave it at that today. It's been about 33 minutes already. And just let everybody know I'm going on a vacation sometime in August. We're just going to head to Rome for the weekend. It's been over 9 months since I've taken the vacation, so may as well take one. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Okay. Can you draw the log trend line on BTC weekly from April 2013? Sure. If I had to draw it, I mean, from April, sure. If I had to just, randomly pick lines, I mean, if I had to draw it, I'd probably do something just like that. If I had to draw one, this would be how I would personally draw it. Is that what you were hoping, Mohammed? So, based on a logarithmic time frame of the monthly from 2013 April, right? Like this is probably reaching a support soon. That's my opinion. So what's hot today? Actually, I'll talk about that quickly as well. What's hot today? Nothing at all. Nothing at all that I find except for perhaps LPT rallying, right? But it's a choppy as fuck run. You don't want to trade coins that's going up 3%, down 2, up 5, down 3, up 6. You don't want to trade these coins, guys. I don't care if it's gone up 11%. These are not tradable coins, in my opinion. The kind of coins that you want to trade are the ones that look like this when they go up, okay? You want to trade coins that literally look like this. One gigantic movement to the upside. Okay, you want to trade coins like that. You want to trade coins like this, like that, like moves like that. You don't want to trade coins like that look really crappy, in my opinion, right? When you're looking at movements like LPT, like what is this? Like they're nasty moves. They're not smooth. they're really choppy. Okay, so today there's not a single hot pick, but don't always have that itch to be in a trade. People always think that they need their money to be working for them at all times, and they're gonna hunt for that trade, even if it's moving like 2-3%. They're gonna go into a trade, and then you go in the trade, you go out, you go in, you go out. Feeds add up, slippage adds up, and then by the time you know it, even though you never actually took a trade yet, but because you tried to take so many trades, you're actually down a few hundred or $1,000. So and you can also tell that there's nothing to trade today based off of, let me show you RSI, okay? There's some coins that are dipping low in RSI, like 1 BCH on the daily, but nothing is overbought except for Unfi, which is now done, in my opinion. On the 4-hour, nothing is high on the 4-hour RSI except for Unfi. Nothing is really low except for BNX. What is BNX? It must be a new coin. It's at 16 RSI. One is really low too. So let's just take a look briefly at these coins, because it's pretty damn low. Whoa, they're really low. They are just... Alright, so one probably gets on my radar in a major way. Okay, the reason why it gets on my radar in a major way is because if you take a look at any other coin, okay, let's take a look at MATIC. MATIC has been rallying. Coins like LPT, they've been rallying. Any coin, RLC, they've been rallying. Take any coin here, near, they've been rallying. But if you take a look at one, for some reason, something is going on in the fundamental world that's making this coin drop and going against every single coin right now. And because it's doing this, it will 100% sometime soon. We don't know when. We don't know at what price. But because it's going against the trend right now and the RSI is absolutely low, you're going to find a long day trading opportunity on this coin sometime soon. It doesn't matter, okay, guys? RSI all follows the same rules. Once it gets too oversold, something eventually happens, okay? Unless, of course, the project goes to death, like, for example, Luna. And by the way, big warning to people looking at Luna C, okay? Stay away from it. Don't try to day trade it. You have to remember that what happened to Luna was brutal, okay? It was horrible. It was one of the most horrific things I've seen in crypto. People lost all of their life savings. Gigantic companies went bust for it that were managing billions of dollars. Why even try to day trade Luna again? Stay away from coins and projects that have had a bad history, because if you've got burned once, just stay away from it. Don't support it. Don't day trade it. Who cares about the 80% moves that it may have made that day? It's not worth your time or your risk again because of previous things that have happened in the past before. So one is a really good coin to be looking at. It's got no record of a possible support anywhere, okay? If you take a look at the 4-day, it actually crossed over already, but it's not doing anything. I got a feeling that if this project is not dead, so the next thing to do is to review and to research some fundamental news to see what's going on with this coin. That's what I'll be spending today doing. So then you take a look at other coins like BNX. Why is BNX at 16 RSI? So we have to be curious about that, right? So BNX, I don't know what it is, but it's pretty, it's pretty weird. This coin's a really weird moving coin. It's new. It's going against the trend right now, but I'm going to disregard it because it doesn't have enough data or history. So based off of 4-hour RSIs, the only one on my pick would be 1. Anything on the 30-minute time frame, nothing above 70. Some below 30, but not that extreme. Has anything picked up in volume? Unfi has, we know that. API 3 has, we know that, but I don't like the way that the shape of the patterns are, so I'm staying away from that. But they've only moved 2, 3, 400%. It's nothing big. On the daily, we know Unfi moved a lot. We know that, well, Ape has moved tremendously down. Let's see if we can find something really low, like Ape has moved down a lot, RSR has moved down a lot, AVAX has moved down a lot on the daily. In the 4 hours, we know storage has moved down significantly. Okay, let's see if storage, right now we're seeing coins drop because Bitcoin has dropped, right? But we see storage just on a tear down right now, just based on the past 4 hours. Like, that's not a cool candle to be looking at, guys. Like, It's probably going to smash this down soon, in my opinion. So then we take a look at other coins, like that's moved down a lot in 4 hours. Let's see Unfi now. That's a coin that's really moved down a lot. Huge amounts. There's the 580 that I called yesterday. Finally there, but of course I missed all of this today. Oh wow, it actually ended up hitting the $7 target, roughly. Yeah, so right now, coins have reached the top. They're coming down. The only one on my radar would be one right now for day trading potential. Other than that, sometimes you just gotta chill, take a seat, sit back, and just wait for the day to unfold and see how the market ends up giving you clues to what we can possibly trade today. I think I'm gonna leave it here for today. Yeah, it's been about 40 minutes already, and trust me, I can talk for a really long time. Jukilo, stay the fuck away from step N. The reason why you want to stay away from step N is because, first of all, okay, you can't make money in that game. Okay, you don't make money in that game. The only reason that game is alive, in my opinion, is because of, idiots in that game who think they can make money in it are still in that game. Okay? Literally. Not only that, to some people, like they're talking about their $60 of free profit they're making a day, but they're not talking about the $3,000 investments that they have to make that $60 a day. They're also not talking about having to work for like 2 hours just to walk. In my opinion, that game there, the developers are only keeping it alive to kind of have this FOMO reaction in the market, right? And excitement. And this FOMO reaction causes new people to come in where they're buying shoes and they're just profiting from the fees in the game. They're making 6% of pretty much everything sold in the game. And that is a gigantic amount. If you sell, for example, I don't know, like a $1,000 pair of shoes, they get $60 out of all of them. And every single day, thousands and thousands and thousands of shoes are sold every single day. They also don't focus on the actual realms that are existent already. They're making a new realm. Why are they making a new realm? So people could be rushing to buy new shoes there, leveling things up so they can make more fees. I just don't see that game as profitable at all. I don't see it as any type of valuable type of NFT investment. I just see no good things out of that game. But Step App, that's different because it's new and I'm going to get in really early. I still think it's going to be the same thing as Step N, but I don't really care. I'm going to get in early, make a lot of money from walking or selling shoes, and then I'm going to get out before it crashes, just like Step N. I think Axis is done, man. They're never going to be able to fix that burn mechanism of theirs and just major inflation. I do not recommend getting into Axis at all. What leverage do I use? It really depends, Danny K. It depends on a lot of things. Sometimes I'm using 1x leverage. Sometimes I'm using probably 5x max. It all depends on how much money I'm kind of cycling back and forth. Like, for example, if I'm reaching an all-time high on Bitcoin and I think that I need to sell some stuff off on my Nano Ledger, I'm probably going to have a way bigger balance, right? Way bigger balance on Binance than normal, because then I'll have converted much to USDT. So I'll leverage between 1 to 5x max, and my bankroll is anywhere between 50,000 to probably the most I'll keep on an exchange that I've ever in the past year is about 400,000. So, and my position sizes will vary from 50K to a million, but I haven't played close to a million in a long time. Biggest position I took this year was $600,000, which was just a few days ago trading Bitcoin. So I'm going to keep it at that. It's been really long already. It's what when I trade Bitcoin, I'm trading it in the futures. When I'm day trading, it's always futures. Spot is only used for my managing portfolio. That's it. I prefer futures because you get to see the numbers and your P&L right in front of you. So thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed this live stream and you picked up some useful tips and tricks. And I'll see you tomorrow as well. Please make sure you give me a like if you've enjoyed it. Please do subscribe as well. And make sure you're hitting that notification bell to join me every single day for the best tips and tricks for day trading and in crypto in general. Bye now and have a great day. See you.